How's it going, guys? Rhino here, and before I get into this video, I just want to give a little warning that I'm really tired. I look really tired. I seem really out of it, and so this video might not be the best quality compared to some of my other videos, although none of my videos are really that great of quality, but you guys still enjoy watching them for some reason. But essentially, yesterday I got hit with a cold out of nowhere. I got hit like a train. I woke up feeling like death, and I'm just fighting to get through it. But I really wanted to make this video because this is a tweet that I wanted to respond to. It's the final tweet that I'll be responding to from this BOL liberal troll, because I've come to the conclusion that this definitely is a troll. I've seen liberals make coherent arguments before, but BOL only resorts to ad hominem insults and expecting those ad hominem insults to somehow hold some sort of weight. You'll see in the tweet that, he calls me junior and other such things, which apparently are supposedly insults, but I'm not insulted by you calling me junior. In fact, I like that you call me junior because you're probably middle-aged or older, and you're being outsmarted by someone who's 22 years old, probably half your age. I'm perfectly fine with that, but when you resort to that and only that, and then resorting to saying that I have to prove evidence to the contrary of your insults, you're definitely a troll. A good analogy is it's essentially like BOL is like when you go over to someone's house and they have one of those little yapper dogs that like bounces when it barks, and it follows you around all day and all night or all evening, just yapping and biting at your ankles. It's really annoying, but you can't really do anything about it because it's not causing any real harm. It's just a little annoyance kind of biting at your ankle. And that's what BOL essentially is. Anytime I tweet something that, was in factual basis, he would feel the need to respond with something, trolly. And so I finally had to block him. I was tired of my mentions being blown up by someone who clearly doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. So I had to end it there. But this is the last tweet that will be in response to this person, because BOL actually brought up a good discussion topic. Now he's way off in his reasoning, way off in his logical arguments, but the topic itself is of good discussion, and so I'm looking forward to doing a little bit of discussion about this. So the tweet will appear on screen somewhere, and here's what it says. I'll presume that since you haven't provided any evidence to the contrary of my insults, good English, rather than pathetic, are accurate. Answer this question, Junior. Do you believe that society should ensure complete equality of opportunity? So, just a quick response to the first part. You have to provide basis for any insults you may throw. Otherwise, I'm proving a negative, and you can't prove a negative. So, once again, this is just showing that this specific liberal doesn't know how the laws of logic work and doesn't know how proving a negative works. So, yeah, your insults were pathetic, and they didn't hold any weight anyway. So you just weren't able to argue, so you resorted to insults. And that's typically when ad hominems arise, is when someone doesn't have the capability to argue, they just resort to ad hominems. But in response to the second part, do you believe that society should ensure complete equality of opportunity? And no, absolutely not. Ensuring complete equality of opportunity would require fascism and would require thought policing. It would require controlling people's actions in ways outside of what is allowed by our Constitution. So let me give you a couple examples. The main logical example is actually, looking at something like the armed forces. Now, the armed forces allows equality of opportunity to join the armed forces, no matter what race you are or what gender you are. But it's not equality of opportunity across the board. What do I mean by that? Well, because of health issues that I've had since I was 12 and that I'll have for the rest of my life, I'm ineligible to join any of the armed forces. Any of them whatsoever. So equality of opportunity isn't established, but the reason why it's not established is because it's basing it off of what is the safest and most efficient way of going about recruiting and bringing people in. Because of my health issues, I would be a liability to the armed forces no matter which armed forces I joined. And so not establishing equality of opportunity is the right thing to do in this situation. However, if they just simply said, oh, we're not allowing black people in, then there wouldn't be equality of opportunity that is fair. I mean, essentially, in terms of fairness, all equality of opportunity is allowed in the armed forces, but not all equality of opportunity is allowed. The way you say complete equality of opportunity shows that you are hinting at something deeper. And this is the great thing about our society, because our society is based in capitalism. So I'll go more of the social route of which you are probably leaning, because you are liberal, so you believe that everyone is oppressed that isn't white and male. So let's take a look at a couple examples, and these are anecdotal. They're made up, but they prove a point. So let's take a look at the aspect of the customer. So looking at the market, if there is not equality of opportunity, because equality of opportunity can apply to what you're allowed to purchase as well. So let's say, and I'm stereotyping here, but I like to stereotype because no one from either side should get offended so easily by stereotypes. But let's say Billy Bob Joe is wanting to open up a gun store. He's really fascinated by guns, and so he wants to open up his own gun store where he can sell guns and educate people on usage of guns in a safe manner. So he opens up a little store. Now, because it's a little store, all he needs is just to run it himself. It's a family-run store, so maybe he brings in like his brother or his parents to help out a little bit. But for the most part, he runs the store by himself, and it's pretty easily manageable. Well, then one day a black person comes in and decides that they want to buy a firearm from Billy Bob Joe. Well, Billy Bob Joe, being the racist that he is, refuses to sell to this person. Let's name him Nigel, because that's in reference to someone that I know who's black. So Nigel goes in to buy a gun and is refused service because he is black. So what happens then? Well, this is the beauty of capitalism. Immediately, there's going to be a social outcry calling for the castration of this, well, figurative castration of this store, calling for nobody to shop at this store. And me, as a person who is very interested in guns, I would never shop at a gun store that refuses service to black people or any sort of minority or women or anything like that. If they are that discriminatory, I'm not going to shop there. And so a lot of people are not going to shop at that gun store. So that gun store is going to be losing business, and the business is going to be going to the nearest possible gun store that does sell to those parties. And so that's the beauty of capitalism, is capitalism doesn't care about red, white, blue, black, white, anything like that. Capitalism cares about green. And the gun store that is allowing everybody to purchase from them is going to be earning the most money because they are given the most business because they are non-discriminatory. And so equality of opportunity doesn't exist there because the black person, Nigel, is not able to purchase a gun at the specific gun store. Now, obviously, on a systematic scale, even on an institutional scale, they're still able to go and purchase a gun somewhere else quite easily. And they'll have no obstruction simply because of their skin color. So, going back to systematic and institutional racism not existing, that's, something we've already covered and not something we need to get into here. But equality of opportunity still exists because on an average scale, that person would be able to purchase a gun somewhere else and get a gun regardless. And the obstruction to equality of opportunity would be dismantled. The gun store would go out of business, hands down. Absolutely would go out of business, so there would be justice for those who obstruct equality of opportunity. Well, now let's look at the employee side. So let's say that Billy Bob Joe really likes how his store is doing and he wants to expand. He wants to create a bigger store that's more of like Cabela's, where they sell more than just guns, and where they're trying to increase revenues and sell a lot of product, but as such, they need to hire new employees. So he decides to put up a for hire sign. So Nigel comes in. He never tried purchasing a gun, but he's very interested in guns and he loves guns. And so he wants to apply to work for this Billy Bob Joe's gun store. Billy Bob Joe, being the racist that he is, turns Nigel away because he is black. Same thing would happen. There'd be the whole social outcry, but also Billy Bob Joe's store would face serious legal repercussions for obstructing equality of opportunity, for discriminating based on skin color. There are ways you are able to discriminate. So Billy Bob Joe would be able to prevent someone from working there who has ever committed a felony, for example. So there's not equality of opportunity for those that have committed felonies, and this is pretty universal. But that's rightfully so. Someone shouldn't be working around guns when they've committed felonies in their life. You're not allowed to purchase a gun if you've ever committed a felony. And so in terms of equality of opportunity for things that matter, skin color, genitals, it exists on an average scale enough to where we can say our society has equality of opportunity, where an average black person and an average white person have the same opportunities. Now, obviously, the black person has more opportunities afforded to them because of affirmative action policies, because of extra scholarships. But this is kind of a way to boost the amount of African-American people going to college, for example, or getting jobs. I don't agree with affirmative action policies because they are discriminatory in their own sense, but that's not really something that I'm here to discuss. In terms of, in general, on average, equality of opportunity exists in our society, but complete equality of opportunity can't exist because that would require fascism. And then what liberals like you most of the time like is equality of outcome, which of course would once again require fascism and would actually require going above and beyond, demanding people take jobs they don't want. You know, for example, nursing is absolutely dominated by women. Men can be successful in nursing, but it's dominated by women, and it would require equality of outcome would force men to go into nursing so that we have 50-50 or 49-51 based on the percentages of men and women in nursing. And so it would literally be forcing people to do things against their will, which of course is exactly what liberals want, but it's not the way our society works. That's leading towards fascism. That's leading towards a whole breakdown of what our country stands for. And it's a breakdown of equality. Equality of outcome is not equality. Equality of opportunity, being able to do what you want, having the freedom to do what you want, the choices in front of you to do what you want, and it doesn't matter what skin color you are, what genitals you have between your legs. That is true equality. That's about it for this video, guys. Let me know if you have any comments you wish to add down below. Thank you for watching, and be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe. Join my Discord, and as always, have a nice day.